All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. All right, we got some really good fights coming up this weekend, and we also have some good fights coming up in the near future in these smaller weight classes. So we're going to talk about something that Devin Haney, the WBC interim or WC champion in recess, one of them WBC belts, had to say about Bob Arum, Vasily Lomachenko, and Teofimo Lopez for ducking him. And Bob Arum saying that he's and explaining it away by saying he's incredibly the 11th best welter lightweight in the world, and also a terrific fight that's going to be coming up this weekend with King Tut versus Gary Russell Jr. It's going to be a better fight than people expect, and also we have Guillermo Rogundiao fighting Solis for a WBA regular title at 118 pounds. We're going to go through that in this video. Please stay tuned to the end so we can chop it up about this boxing. Afterwards, of course, after the fights this weekend, we'll be on OG Boxing Talk for you to check it out. All right, we're going to do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. All right, let's get into this. Shakur Steve, man, I want to talk about all these lightweights, but I'm not going to do these lightweights. I'm not going to talk about lightweights in all separate videos, man. I'm going to do it in this particular video because there's so many interesting things going on between 126 pounds and between 118 pounds and 135 pounds. Okay, so bear with me on this, stick with me on this. First thing though I want to talk about is Devin Haney. Devin Haney should be the WBC champion because he got injured in his last fight, and the WBC swooped in for some reason and put him in recess, and now there's going to be a fight for that vacant belt between Luke Campbell, who I do believe has already lost for that belt, fighting for that belt once, and Javier Fortuna. Now, the big fight that's taking place though in the lightweight division is Vasily Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez to unify three of those belts, the WBO and the WBA, which is what is held by Vasily Lomachenko, and the IBF, which is held by Teofimo Lopez. And they're going to be fighting each other. At least that's what I understand the plan to be. They're going to be fighting each other for that belt. Now, I've already done videos on that. I really do believe that fight could go either way. That is that's not going to be an easy fight for Vasily Lomachenko. It's a very, very dangerous fight. It's not going to be an easy fight for Teofimo Lopez unless Teofimo Lopez lands that leaping left hook. That double leaping left hook that he can put you out there with. He actually probably put you out with both hands, but you get my point. It's a very, very interesting fight, but and a difficult fight for both of those. So I don't have any problem with Bob Arum making that fight. But Devin Haney, who's responding to Bob Arum saying that there's 10 other lightweights that are better than Devin Haney. Like, man, come on, man. Bob, when you exaggerate like that, Bob, it tells me that Devin Haney's probably telling the truth, that Lomachenko did duck him, didn't want to see him, and also Teofimo Lopez. Devin Haney accused Teofimo Lopez of ducking him. So I'm like, yeah, I do remember there being some conversations around that. But since you're the promoter of Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko, and you are out here spinning that Devin Haney is the 11th best heavyweight, then yeah, man, you probably don't want either one of those guys to fight Devin Haney. And I know the reason why he doesn't want him to fight Devin Haney. And you know the reason that they don't want him to fight those guys to fight Devin Haney. It's because Devin Haney is a very dangerous fight for either one of those guys. Devin Haney is an extremely talented fighter. He's an extremely skilled fighter. And he's a young and aggressive fighter. He's also a big lightweight. And His style fighting on the outside and being able to move and stay away suits him well against a Vasily Lomachenko, and it also will suit him well against Teofimo Lopez, because Teofimo Lopez, although he is a very powerful puncher and a very strong guy, is not the most fleet of foot cat in the world. But hopefully we'll be able to get to see those fights. Hopefully they won't continue to do that. Devin Haney said that he intends on staying in the lightweight division, and he also intends on being back and fighting very soon. Now, the thing with that lightweight championship with Devin Haney is that Devin Haney gets to fight for that belt. That's the benefit of being a champion in recess, is that he gets first dibs at a shot at whoever wins that championship between Javier Fortuna and Luke Campbell. Now, it might be a blessing in disguise for Devin Haney, him going into recess. It really might be a blessing in disguise, because before he was going to be going to recess, before he became champion in recess, I do believe he was mandated to fight Javier Fortuna. And I thought to myself, when I saw that fight made between him and Javier Fortuna, that, ooh, that's a setup fight right there. That's a setup fight right there, because Javier Fortuna is a very good fighter. He's a very awkward fighter. He's a very dirty fighter, and he can make the best fight ugly. People originally thought that when he fought Robert Easter Jr., this is Javier Fortuna I'm talking about, that when he made Javier Fortuna look bad, when Javier Fortuna made Robert Easter Jr. look bad, it was, Robert Easter Jr. is just, he's just not all he's hyped up to be and all that. Now, it might be the case that Robert Easter wasn't all what he's hyped up to be. But when you did it, he turned around and did the same thing to Adrian Granados. Now, Adrian Granados is a guy that can fight all the way up to 147 pounds. That's a much bigger guy than Javier Fortuna. And Javier Fortuna was still able to muck up and just make it an ugly, ugly fight and get out. I think he wound up getting out of there with a no contest. It's just Javier Fortuna is just a very, very difficult, very awkward fight. So Luke Campbell having to fight Javier Fortuna first might actually work out to the benefit of Devin Haney, because Luke Campbell is a much more straight up and down fighter, man. He's a much more straight up and down, what's coming type of fighter. He is a big lightweight, but he doesn't possess exceptional speed. He doesn't possess exceptional power. He's just a very good fighter. That's it. And I'll take Devin Haney over Luke Campbell, 32 days out of the month, right? And there's actually a chance, because that fight with Luke Campbell and them might wind up over in the UK, that Luke Campbell may be able to scrap out and deal with enough to get a points win over Javier Fortuna. And not, so anyway, that actually might work out for Devin Haney in that regard. And then maybe he can still be there to get the shot for the unification title. Because if he's a WBC champion, there's always going to be an argument that either Lomachenko or Teofimo Lopez needs to fight him. Personally, I think Bob Arum is probably going to break both of them up out of there, break Lomachenko back down to 130 pounds, and Teofimo Lopez up to 140, up to 147, up to 140 pounds, especially when Jose Ramirez leaves that division. That's how I see that going. But speaking of moving down in weight and other great fights, I do want to make sure that I mention that there's going to be a very, very good fight this weekend against King Tut. I forget, Numara, who is he's a Mongolian fighter that's fighting Gary Russell Jr. I think he's like 11-0. He's only fought one time last year, one time the year before, but he is a very good fighter, man. He's a very good fighter. And that fight with Gary Russell Jr., I think Gary Russell Jr. is going to win it. But that particular fight right there is going to be kind of an awkward fight for Gary Russell Jr. because this guy, King Tut, has a lot of weapons, man. He's very fast, right? He's got very fast hands. Not Gary Russell Jr. fast hands or speed, but he's got fast hands. He's not just a one-dimensional fighter. He can actually box. He can actually box from the outside, and he can press in, and he can press on you. He's also just came off a year ago fighting a southpaw. He also has. Just to tell you his boxing skills. He's an Olympic silver medalist. So you know that the guy can fight. He's got decent power. This could be an interesting fight. This is a lot of people will say, "Oh, who is Gary Russell Jr. fought?" And dude, if Gary Russell Jr. beats this guy, you can put this on a list of good fighters that Gary Russell Jr. beat. This is not some guy that's just some walking up in there guy just because he got a funny name and you might not have heard of him. He's not one of these guys walking up into that fight in that scenario. This guy's a talented guy, man. I've seen the guy fight. He's definitely a talented fighter. And the last thing is the return. I'm going to probably do a specific video on this later. Is Guillermo Rigondeaux returns. He's fighting at 118 pounds. And I think that Guillermo Rigondeaux is actually a guy that he's really not even moving down in weight. I do believe Guillermo Rigondeaux really is just fighting for the first time at his true weight class. Right, I believe that's what Guillermo Rigondeaux is. He's a very small guy. He's fighting this guy Solis. Should be a good fight. We'll see what should be. Actually, I don't even know if it should be a good fight. It should be Guillermo Rigondeaux busting his ass up. But Gary Russell Jr. is 40 years. I mean, Guillermo Rigondeaux is almost 40 years old now. So when you get to that age, especially when you're in that small weight class, you don't always know what to expect. But big shout out to him for that last fight that he had at 122 pounds. I can't remember the guy's name, but people are like, oh, he's taking too much punishment and he didn't quite look the same and all that, man. But hey, that guy went on to give Brandon Figueroa everything he can handle, and Guillermo Rigondeaux got him up out of there, and he got him up out of there, I do believe, with a body shot. So if Guillermo Rigondeaux still isn't weakened and has that power at 118 pounds, expect somebody to get their jaw broke or their rib cage broke. But anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.